everybody. Hope you're having a nice weekend. There's a couple things for next week. Bed number 12, which I'll show you when I go outside, which we have re-sown probably 5 times, and there's only 2 plants growing there. I am going to have both of those plants that are currently growing moved to one end of the bed, probably the end closest to the greenhouse, and then the rest of the bed we're just going to plant some summer cover crops. It's this bag that has buckwheat in it, and I'll just leave it sit right here. And we'll see if that will grow, because nothing else is growing for us there. So, outside, I have the irrigation set to come back on Monday and then Thursday. So we'll just have to kind of watch and see what the weather's going to do. Right now it says there might be rain mid next week, so we'll just keep an eye on that. I think we can go ahead and probably especially some of these taller pieces of basil, or these basil stems that are coming up, we can trim those or prune the tops off so that it gets bushier. I'll resend that video that I had sent a month or so ago. I mean, I think most of these plants, see, like these here, because I think they need to have a few sets of leaves on the stem, so you want to cut it off like right above where there's a set of leaves so that it gets bushier. But I'll resend that video just so everyone can see it again. But we'll do that with the basil this week. I treated these dragon tongue beans with just some neem oil. I think there's Mexican bean beetles in here, which I am going to do some more research on and send some information out in case anybody else is interested in looking at that. It's something we'll just have to keep an eye on. See, some of these leaves are looking really bad, and that's, I think, what it is. Hopefully we don't have to use anything stronger. But we'll kind of see what happens with this. I mean, the beans are still growing. And when you harvest, we'll have to harvest and kind of pull up. See, like here's a big one. But if you kind of like lift the plants up, you can see underneath easier. So these ones you'll have to just kind of like dig around in here whenever we need to harvest. Which will probably, we can do a harvest early next week. The food bank is closed on Monday, so Tuesday we can harvest this bed. Some of these other bean plants have little holes in them. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Let me know if you see any beetles on them, because then I'll have to start treating these as well. The sweet peppers. Let's go ahead and like harvest this size right here. You know, it's like maybe the size of my palm, I guess. It like would fit in my palm. If it's about that size or bigger, let's harvest those. There look to be a few on some of these plants. So we can do that early next week too. Make sure you're checking the cucumbers. I have seen some growing in here, like, oh, right there's a big one. So we can harvest that next week. These cucumber plants are really prickly, so make sure you're wearing gloves or in like a long sleeve shirt or something, because they can really scratch you up. So we'll keep an eye on that. Thanks to the ladies last week on Thursday who trellised these up. I was just gonna chop off the vines that were coming down, but this is a much better idea. So thank you. And you can see they use some blue string on here to hold them up. So if you see any others that need to be trellised, we can do that as well. It looks like the husk cherries are dropping, and if you see any on the plants that look like this, like it's about to drop off, so you can just pluck those, either pluck this color off of the plant or wait till they fall to the ground and collect them. It looks like there's just starting to be kind of like a little handful down there. The tomatoes are starting to ripen. There's a few on here, especially underneath. These 2 cages on the end just completely fell over because the plants are so heavy. I tried to stake them up back here to keep them from falling over, but if you come and find this tipped over, we might just have to cut some of these really big branches off just to reduce some of the weight on here. I think it's this plant out here on this side that is the biggest and has these crazy long stems that are really heavy. So something to keep an eye on. Again, we'll just move in bed 12. We'll move this plant down here to excuse me, I have something in my throat. Down here to the end, and then we'll plant the buckwheat cover crop in the rest of the bed, and just make sure to water it well. And with that, when you plant it, just kind of, I'm trying to think of how I did it last year. You don't have to plant it seed by seed. You kind of just scatter it over the bed and make sure it's kind of lightly covered, but you basically want the whole bed to be covered lightly with seeds, and a little bit of dirt on top of the seeds, and just spray that really well, water well whenever that's done. The jalapenos are coming on pretty strong, so we'll definitely need to harvest these next week. I'm trying to think what's like a good size. You want them to be like 2 or 3, you can't really even see that, what I'm trying to show you. Just like 2 or 3 inches long. The tomatoes over here are starting to ripen as well. All the shishitos, these are kind of going crazy. So we'll definitely harvest these on Tuesday, if not maybe even later in the week again too, because there's so many on these plants. Let me see what else. We probably need to water if anyone comes on Monday. I just watered all of the containers that aren't hooked up to irrigation. If anyone comes on Monday, we'll probably want to check. I'm sure everything will need, the containers especially, will need to be watered. And that is about all I can think of right now. I do have a group coming on Friday. We're going to keep continuing to clean out the rain garden and move things around. If anyone wants to join us on Friday, we're going to start at 7 to try to beat the heat. And I think that's about it. I will leave some more notes, I'm sure links to things in my whatever I send out later today. And I hope everybody enjoys your 4th of July weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.